Hey everyone, James here. This is the first story I'm sharing on this channel, and I want to be upfront about something. Every word of this is true. It happened to me at a hospital just outside Chicago, and to this day, my friends and I don't talk about it unless we have to. It started because my best friend Henry asked me to stay overnight with him at the hospital. His dad had just gone through sinus surgery, and someone needed to be there for the recovery. Henry had two younger sisters, Linda, who went to the same college as me, and Alia, who was just a little kid, maybe 6 or 7 years old, first grade. Let me paint the picture of where we were. The hospital had a row of private rooms, A, B, C, and D. The nice ones, the kind with a little sitting area for visitors and a balcony attached. Henry's dad was in room B. Room A and room D both had patients in them. Room C, right next to us, was empty. Henry and I spent most of our time out on that balcony, drinking coffee, eating snacks, just talking to pass the time. It was around 8:30 p.m. Visiting hours were almost over, and since hospital policy only allowed 2 people to stay overnight per patient, Linda and Alia had to head out soon. But before they left, Henry and I were starving, so we asked Linda to grab us a couple of burgers from a place across the street. Linda went without complaint. Alia tagged along too, running ahead the whole way like she always did. That kid never seemed to get tired. A few minutes later, Linda walked back into the room, alone. Henry looked up immediately. "Where's Alia?" Linda froze. She said Alia had been right behind her, had actually run ahead of her in fact, and gone into the room first. Except Alia wasn't there. That's when the panic set in. The 3 of us split up and started searching the hallways, calling her name, checking every corner we could think of. Nothing. We were about 30 seconds from going to hospital staff for help when we heard it. A child's voice, muffled, crying, calling out for her brother and sister. "Brother! Sister! Help!" It was coming from room C, the empty one. We ran to the door and tried it, locked. But there was another way in, the balcony. The rooms shared a connected outdoor walkway, and the balcony door to room C was unlocked. Henry climbed through first and found her standing in the middle of the empty room, sobbing, and scooped her up immediately. She wouldn't stop crying. Wouldn't really talk either. Just buried her face in Henry's shoulder and shook. We didn't push her for answers right then. It was late. Visiting hours were already over, and Linda needed to get her home. They left quietly, without even waking Henry's dad to say goodbye. He was already asleep. So it was just me and Henry for the night, eating burgers that had gone cold while we waited. Around 11:30 p.m., we were still out on the balcony. From where we sat, we had a clear view of the hospital parking lot below. Dim, but visible. Cars came and went the way they do outside any hospital at night. But one car caught my eye. An old, beat-up sedan that pulled in and parked. I noticed it specifically because I have a personal grudge against old cars. I once had to push a dead one down a street for 2 miles, and the memory apparently never left me. A small group of people got out of it and walked into the building. About 15 minutes after that, we heard people enter room C, the same room Alia had wandered into. We actually felt relieved. Figured it'd be nice to have neighbors, something to listen to besides each other. And for a while we did. Muffled conversation came through the wall that separated our balcony from theirs. Voices, maybe 4 or 5 of them, talking over each other. Then the voices got quieter and quieter until they faded out completely, replaced by one single sound. Someone snoring, loudly. So loudly that Henry and I started cracking jokes about it, laughing under our breath so we wouldn't wake his dad. By 2 a.m., we were exhausted and went inside to sleep. The next morning, the doctor cleared Henry's dad for discharge. We packed up and went down to the front desk to file the paperwork. I went with Henry. While he was signing forms, I glanced at a whiteboard mounted on the wall behind the admin desk. A grid showing each room number and the patient currently assigned to it. Room A, a name I don't remember. Room B, Henry's dad. Room C, a red X drawn straight through it. I asked the staff member about it, just out of curiosity. "Hey, what's with the X on room C?" He didn't even look up. "Oh, that room's been under renovation. Hasn't been used in 2 days." I looked at Henry. He looked at me. He asked the guy, carefully, "But someone was in there last night, right?" "No, sir. Nobody's been in that room." Neither of us said anything else after that. We just looked at each other, and I think we both knew exactly what the other person was thinking. Who were those people who walked in that night? Who was having that conversation right next to us? And who, or what, was snoring so loud it made us laugh? We didn't talk about it again until we got back to Henry's house, where Linda and Alia were waiting. That's when Linda finally told us what Alia had said about that room. According to Alia, she really had run ahead and gone inside first, but she went into room C by mistake. And here's the part that still gets me. That door was locked. We'd tried it ourselves, but somehow Alia got it open. Once inside, she said there was an old woman waiting for her. White hair, completely white, head to toe. Wearing clothes that looked old, dirty, worn out. The woman smiled at her and said, "Come here, sweetheart. Come play with my grandchildren." Alia, being 6 years old and not knowing any better, walked further into the room. But the closer she got to the hospital bed, the more she realized something was wrong. There was no one on it. It was empty. And the old woman who'd just been standing there, smiling, was simply gone. That's when she started screaming for her brother and sister. That's the whole story, exactly the way it happened to us. And there's one thing none of us have ever forgotten since that night. We know visiting hours. They don't. Some places remember things we don't. If this is your kind of story, subscribe. There are more waiting in the dark. And if you've ever felt like something in a hospital, a hotel, an old building, was watching the clock with you, leave it in the comments. I might just tell your story next.